Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Schad. I write for ZoneCoverage.com and FanSided. My co-host is Adam Patrick, managing editor of the VikingAge.com and a lead editor for the NFL division at FanSided. We do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel, and we are also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode a week and spread the word to the masses. On today's show, the Vikings may make a massive mistake with Jordan Addison. Kevin O'Connell tells us we know how he feels about Jonathan Greenard. Kirk Cousins extorted $20 million and more out of another desperate franchise. But first, if you were expecting Kevin O'Connell to adapt that offense to Kyler Murray, then are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Kevin O'Connell wants Kyler Murray to cook from the pocket, and he talked about it at the annual meetings in Phoenix this week. These are quotes, so it's story time with Chris Shads. Just hang on one second. I don't think he's gotten enough credit for playing in rhythm. We all recognize some of the highlight reel ability that he has, but I think sometimes what we don't recognize is the 3rd and 7 right before the huge scramble play. Kyler is dynamic in the keeper game and movement game with his natural athleticism. I see ways that he'll be able to continue the evolution of our offense in year 5. So, bring you into the show, Adam. What do you think about Kevin O'Connell's comments about Kyler Murray cooking from the pocket?
I think he was just trying basically just to get ahead of everybody, trying to think that the Vikings offense is going to completely change because they signed Kyler Murray. It's basically what I think he's saying here is like, hold on, like, yeah, we saw all the scrambling and stuff in the highlights, but this guy can actually play pretty well on schedule, as he chose to use a lot during his comments at the NFL's annual league meeting, which always has my favorite yearly coaches picture, and we get to analyze that. John Harbaugh with the short white socks and loafers. I don't know what's going on there. So, and then and Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur were very far apart from each other. So
they should have just had those two in like a steel cage match. Just like, all right, guys, we don't need any more of this shit. You guys are gonna fight for 30 minutes, and whoever gets there, we're gonna throw Dan Campbell in as a special guest referee just for good measure here.
Oh yeah, well they have. Have you seen like Jay Glazer has like that thing where they do like day drinking or whatever on one of the days with all the coaches? So I wonder if like both Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur were there, and they were like, Jay Glazer was like, "Oh, come on, guys, we can make friends." Also,
I love you, man. I love you.
I'm pretty sure Jay Glazer's sober, so it's a weird thing that he's hosting day drinking, but maybe it's not weird. He just likes to do it. I'm sure not all the coaches drink, but we know Dan Campbell does. But back to Kyler Murray. I think Kevin O'Connell was just trying to get ahead of this assumption that the Vikings are going to look like, Lamar Jackson back there, pistol formation, just all these design runs, when it's probably not going to be like that. There'll be some maybe intricacies and mixing in things that Kyler's capable of doing that other quarterbacks in Kevin O'Connell's system aren't as capable of doing, but I don't think it's going to probably look that different. Maybe a little bit more shotgun, because Kyler is a wee little guy, and if Blake Brandel is his center, I'm pretty sure Blake Brandel's like 6'5", 6'6". So he's going to need a booster, I guess, to see over that if he's under center probably. But just some numbers here, looking at design runs for Kyler Murray, because I feel like a lot of people just think like, oh, there's probably like 10 or 15 plays where he's just like scrambling around like a madman. And that's really not the case. Like, we'll go back to 2024, because that was like his last full season. He only played like, what did he play? Like 5 games last year. With the Cardinals. So in 2024, he had 28 design runs in 17 games. He had more rushing attempts, but the most of those were scrambles. I think he had like 40 scrambles during that. So he had 28. That same year, in 2024, Lamar Jackson had 70 design runs. So quite the difference. Daniel Jones had 20 design runs, but he also did it in 10 games. So he averaged more design runs than Kyler Murray did that year. And I think a lot of people view Daniel Jones, for whatever reason, more as like a pocket passer than they do a scrambler when he's done a lot of scrambling in his life. Some other numbers from that year: Jaden Daniels, 2024, 51 design runs. Anthony Richardson only played 11 games in 2024, but still had 51 designed runs. And it's not a shock that he was getting sidelined and needed to tap out because they were just pushing him to the brim, I guess. Also, Deebo Samuel that year, 31 design runs. Taysom Hill, 34 design runs in 8 games. So, like, Kyler Murray, there's sometimes you design a run for him, but he mostly sticks around the pocket. And here's another thing. People have talked about play action. Kyler doesn't really run play action or it doesn't do it well. Let's go back to 2024 again, because that was Kyler's last really like full season. Kyler Murray, his percent of dropbacks in play action, 29.5. Guess who had a lower percentage of dropbacks in play action passes in 2024? Oh, Sam Darnold. Oh, who did he play for? Oh, the Vikings. They both had the exact same number of play action pass attempts in 2024, 159. Kyler he had a 69.8 completion percentage rate on those passes, and Darnold had a little better, 71.7. But here's the difference. Kyler Murray on those dropbacks got sacked 5 times. Sam Darnold on those dropbacks got sacked 11 times. So that's what you get in Kyler. Like, you're going to be able to run a lot of more stuff, a lot of similar stuff with Kyler, but I think he's going to take less sacks because he does have that athletic ability to scramble and make plays with his legs, unlike some of the other guys that Kevin O'Connell has had under center. So, yeah, I think Kevin O'Connell was just trying to get ahead and let everybody know, hey, like, this isn't going to be triple option RPO, like Kyler Murray running everywhere. Like, we're still going to run a lot of the things we like. Maybe we'll mix in some special plays here and there, but don't expect them to change absolutely everything for a guy that can still do pretty much whatever they need.
And I don't think the Vikings would have signed him if they needed to do that with their offense, because we saw last year, if you can't do it, Kevin O'Connell's not going to put on training wheels. Even if you're the hand-chosen quarterback of the future, that's not going to happen. Our friend of the show, Matthew Collar, also had some stats and just kind of wanted to go through those. A lot of the quarterbacks that Kevin O'Connell has worked from the shotgun before. He listed this out. Yeah, crazy. Matthew Stafford, pocket passer, right? 473 passes out of the gun with the Rams in 2021. Kirk in 2022, 454 passes out of the gun. Kirk in 2023, 214 of 311 throws out of the gun. Darnold, 390 throws out of the gun in 2024 with 155 under center. Also mentioned that Darnold was under center because the Vikings virtually never trailed in 2024 and basically never had to put him in shotgun. O'Connell's also going to have to make sure the ball comes out of Murray's hands fast, but Drew Petzing had a quick hit offense for Murray in the desert. So that's why Trey McBride was an absolute beast last year, because Kyler Murray kept pumping him with targets. And by the way, this isn't just a Kevin O'Connell thing. Yes, he runs the show. Yes, we've made comments about his ego and all that stuff on this show. But Frank Smith is considered one of the most creative offensive minds in the game. I know Mike McDaniel was there calling plays, but Frank Smith has a very good reputation coming to Minnesota. And not only is he going to have they would be an idiot to not put any designed runs in there. JJ McCarthy, if you remember that in week 1, he had a zone read touchdown on a designed run. Like, they're going to have running concepts for Kyler Murray.
But I think he came out and said that wasn't the play call.
Oh, he changed it?
I think he did that himself. But still, no, but they called design runs for him. That was it did.
Yes.
So did a lot of things, but that Kevin O'Connell didn't like. But it worked, yeah. So there's a lot of things, yeah.
I agree with Collar. Like, Kevin O'Connell's not an idiot, but I also need to know what the hell happened last year. Like, why was it not... why didn't you adapt when you're like, okay, this isn't working? Like, my quarterback is getting killed. But also, too, I feel like he did try and pull some easy levers in that game against Green Bay. And like the Packers were just, we know this is all he can do right now. So we're
Right.
just going to guard the short stuff. Like it was kind of a shitty situation for Kevin O'Connell to be in. So he's adapted to the strengths of quarterbacks before. I would imagine, Kyler Murray's it. And if not, I think JJ's got a chance to win the starting job. Call me crazy or whatever. But I mean, if you're not going to change, if he comes out and Kyler Murray's just like skipping passes and JJ McCarthy takes a step forward, I think they'd start him. If he plays better than Kyler Murray, they're going to play the best quarterback. Now, again, Kyler Murray's got like minus 5,000 odds to win this competition, but I don't think JJ McCarthy's dead. Call me delusional or whatever, but
I think, I would not count out JJ McCarthy just yet. Especially because Kevin O'Connell was very hesitant and ready to push on the brakes of everyone and be like, is this a competition? Like how are you going to divvy up the snaps? And he's like, well, it's going to be OTAs. There's going to be like no pass rush or anything. We're not going to like worry about first team reps or second team. Like once we get to training camp, we'll be able to find out how things are going to go. And I would like to feel confident in the fact that I don't think that they're going to split reps between like Kyler and JJ. I think they're going to go in training camp knowing who they want to work with the first team mostly. Like I feel like it might be, I don't know, 70-30, maybe even closer to 80-20, and then Carson Wentz can get 2 snaps and Max Brosmer can get 1 every other day. So I think once again, I think a lot of this has to do with no one watched the Cardinals. Okay, like nobody watched the Cardinals. They're like, we at FanSided run sites for all 32 teams. The Cardinals site for my entire tenure at FanSided has easily been one of the lowest performing sites in the entire network. And that's not because of people who write there or the quality or anything. Like that's because the fan base just isn't that big and no one really pays attention to them. Like the best that site did was when Kyler was doing well in 2021 because people were intrigued and people were watching them. Like they're in the NFC West. They're not one of the better teams in the NFC West, or at least they haven't been for a while. So, and they're not on, prime time. Like if they are, it's like they're on like ESPN Plus on a Tuesday night doubleheader or something like that. So like it's not like they're shoved into everyone's face. Like everyone has a Thursday night game, so I don't even really count that as like prime time because that's just how it goes. But I just feel like a lot of people just go from the national narratives, the highlights and everything, and don't really pay attention to like what has actually happened with the Cardinals and Kyler. Kyler can play from the pocket. Kyler can do play action. Kyler can make the easy reads, the quick reads. He can do it. He can do it all. There's a reason why he went, undefeated in college, undefeated in high school, won the Heisman, was number 1 pick. Like there's a reason all that happened. JJ McCarthy, he helped Michigan win a championship, but personally, his numbers in his high school, college, even now NFL, obviously, don't even compare to what Kyler Murray's been able to do. So that's why he's favored, and I think the only thing that maybe could prevent Kyler Murray from starting the year as a Vikings quarterback is probably an injury because, everyone says his foot is fine from last year, but you really don't know until he gets out there on the field and starts doing stuff, and he's not really known to be one of the most durable quarterbacks in the NFL. So that's something that I feel like could be maybe the only thing to prevent him from being QB1 next year.
And that's why you have Carson Wentz on the roster. I'm dead serious.
I know you are. That's
like
right.
Kyler Murray is injury prone. JJ McCarthy's injury prone so far in his career. Like the Vikings have gone down to that
QB3 wise, Carson Wentz is probably pretty good.
Right.
Like if you're going to list the QB3s in the NFL, Carson Wentz probably one of the better ones.
Now, if Carson Wentz is the QB2, we got a problem. But like if he's QB3, like okay, whatever. Like break glass in case of emergency. He knows the offense. Kevin O'Connell likes him from, even though he like sent him out to die on national television.
If Kyler
That is
Murray's the
kind of it.
starter in week 1, are we assuming JJ McCarthy's the backup?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would hope so.
Okay.
If he's QB3, then this is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, year 3, if you're QB3, technically it's year 2 because he was injured. I get that, but I guess Jordan Love was QB3 for like 2 or 3 years, right?
He
And
was.
then, you know,
Now he's
now we
amazing.
call him and his wife mom and dad over in Green Bay. That's not weird or anything. Also, the other thing that kind of bothers me about this, last thing we'll just mention, if you're going to have Murray like work from the pocket, center's kind of a question mark because they did mention Blake Brandel's probably going to be the center, and they mentioned it would be great for his development. He will be 29 years old in week 1. And I understand there are late bloomers, but like
Taysom Hill, his development too, you know.
Yeah.
He's a 28-year-old rookie, right?
Yeah, just spring chicken out there. Like I do not want the Vikings to reach for a center. Take one in the draft if you can find one, but I don't know. I think it's a big thing. And here's another thing that maybe doesn't get talked about. We're kind of fretting about the offensive line. That mobility, like you mentioned with Sam Darnold, should help them. You don't have a quarterback that's, just standing back there. You don't have JJ is mobile, so he should be able to dart around the pocket. Like you have a quarterback who knows what he's doing and is mobile.
I was going to say, he doesn't really know what he's doing on the run, where Kyler's probably, we know he has more experience with that, and he is going to, he could still make a play while he's on the run. Not that JJ couldn't, but I feel like with JJ it was either run, smash into a defender with your throwing shoulder probably, and then get up and taunt him, or throw a ball that's way over Justin Jefferson's head. Where Kyler's like, I'm going to scramble, and if I don't see anything right away, I'm just going to get a couple yards and get out of bounds. So, and I'm hoping that the Vikings can figure out a way to maybe teach Kyler. I know he's been in the league for so long, so it's kind of, hard to teach a guy new tricks, but get him to go out of bounds more and just try and stay as healthy as possible, because as Kevin O'Connell has mentioned multiple times, when we have healthy quarterbacks, we are, our offense is at its best. No shit. Like,
if Jordan Love goes down, we're in trouble. Oh,
yeah,
really?
Like, obviously, that's for every team in the NFL, unless you're, the Panthers or somebody else. But, yeah, I center is important. O'Connell did mention that they would like Brandel to focus on center, which I think is a good idea because he performed well last year. He did not perform great, but out of all the positions he's played in his career with the Vikings, I would say center was a pleasant surprise where he did pretty well. So, and they don't really have, like, Michael Juergens is their other option, and I don't feel too great about the way he played. Was he a rookie last year, or was the second year?
Second year.
Okay, that makes me feel even worse.
Yeah.
And he didn't play really well last year when he got opportunities, so I think, yeah. I don't think they're going to draft a center in the first round. I don't think there is a center that even has like a first round grade from anybody. So, but I think, a day 2 pick, they have 3, they have 2, they have 1 in the second round and 2 in the third. I think if they use one of those third round picks on a center, I wouldn't be sad.
No, I absolutely. I mean, I've heard some people say they should take a guard and move him to center in the first round. I'm not a fan
Can
of
we
that.
just get someone who already plays the position?
Yes.
Please. Like,
I mean, everybody does that. It's like Tate Ratledge, we're going to move him to center someday. No, we're not. No, just
like they did.
And it's hard on the player too.
Yeah, they did that. I feel like they did that a lot during the Zimmer regime, where it was like, Ali Udo, you're a
tackle now. Practice is tomorrow.
You used to be a guard, but now you're gonna be a tackle. They did that with a bunch of guys. I feel like during that time. So yeah, let's get someone who's already played center in college, like more than a couple games, because I'm sure was it Dalton Reisner who played center a little bit too in college.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just get someone who's good at center, who won't get lifted off their feet like a rag doll by Kenny Clark. Is that too much to ask?
I don't think do the Vikings play the Cowboys next year? get
I don't. Do they play the NFC East? No, they play the
they played the East last year.
they play the South, and they play the NFC. Do they play? They play the AFC South. Who do they play?
That's we see. This is how checked out we are. Like, you know, when you have an exciting off
That's
season
the
like
schedule. Like it's. I worry about that stuff after the draft.
this, right? When
I know
we
they
get
don't play
the
this.
schedule, we'll figure out who we're
I
playing.
know they don't play the Seahawks next year. It was like the first time in like 50 years they haven't played the Seahawks on the road on Monday night or something.
But we get the Niners, which is super fun. Anyway,
Hey, they beat the Niners at home last time. Jordan Addison had those touchdown catches.
yeah, and a win that was completely detrimental to the team. Whatever. That people will get mad if I start saying that. Let's move on. Kevin O'Connell also at the coach's breakfast. Sounds like I hope there was waffles, eggs. You know, I like a good breakfast burrito personally. Like I'd probably just plow into like a Chipotle sized breakfast burrito, just like, hey coach, what do you think? Oh, you know. These potatoes are good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Kevin O'Connell said about Jonathan Greenard as he's been floated out in trade rumors. Our coaching staff, the players, we love Jonathan Greenard. He clearly has meant so much to our team. He clearly has meant so much to our team from a standpoint of what he has done on the field, but becoming a captain last year and really becoming one of those driving factors behind a team that could somehow find themselves at 4-8 and finish at 9-8. Okay. Before I go further,
they really made a run at the end of the year.
This was a 4-8 football team that beat teams ready for Cancun or the playoffs. I get it. You can hang that pelt on your wall. Yep. You can say, I got the Vikings to a winning record. That's good for you, Kevin O'Connell. Again, that falls into the ego, but come on. Anyway, Jonathan Greenard and his leadership and what he means on a daily basis to our team is absolutely something we don't take for granted. I expect him to be part of our team. I know there's always conversations. There's conversations this week. There's conversations throughout the offseason, and we'll continue to attack things at the different phases. We're getting ready to jump heavily into the draft meetings when we get back, but at the same time, we're always going to try to do best for our team and also what we think is best for each one of our individual players. Outside of saying the word conversations way too much, like it's like I get what he's trying to like. They probably talked to him when he took the job, like, hey, could you not be like Mike Zimmer and give like 2-word answers, like help the guys out? And he's like,
tell the truth.
Yeah. Or, you know, just be nice. And yeah, sure. But like every time he talks, it's like a 15-minute answer when it's just like, you know, straight to get to the point. Like, yes or no? Do you like Jonathan Greenard or not? Not like there's conversations here, there's conversations everywhere. You know, sometimes you trade a player and you get a pick back. Sometimes you trade a player and you get a player back. Sometimes you trade a player and you just get salary or whatever. And then sometimes, you know, conversations, outcome scenarios.
We're gonna have to do like a podcast once where we just ask questions and then you can answer them as Kevin O'Connell. Just give us 10-minute long answers that say absolutely nothing.
If we were in the same room, I would give you a game ball with this question. What is your takeaway after Kevin O'Connell's long-winded answer about Jonathan Greenard?
My takeaway is they're not trying to do anything to tank his trade value is my takeaway. They're going to say everything that they love him. At least Kevin O'Connell is going to say everything that they love him. They love having him in the locker room and everything. And oh yeah, by the way, if anyone presents us with an offer that we like, we're going to take it. Yeah, I think the reports are that Jonathan Greenard's asking price in terms of a contract extension is what is holding up him going anywhere. I think the Eagles have had a lot of interest, and the report was like that he wants like $30 million a year, which would be an $11 million pay increase from what he's currently due. Do I think he's worth more than what he's probably getting paid right now? Yeah. Do I think he's worth getting paid like a top 5 edge rusher? No. Say what you will about pressures and sacks, but he had 3 sacks last year. Like, and he's supposed to be your top edge rusher. I understand the value of pressure over sacks, but that matters. Like, and then, I'll ask you this: would the Vikings defense next year be worse off if they had Jadeveon Clowney in there in Jonathan Greenard's spot or Jonathan Greenard. I don't think there would be too much of a drop off.
No, because Jonathan Greenard was only like 17th in pass rush win rate. Like, I'm not trying to.
And he misses a bunch of tackles. Like,
look, he's a good player. Like, I don't want to come on here and be like,
and he's a good locker room guy. No, yeah.
But I mean, here's the other thing too we have to consider. I think the Vikings would be selling on the pennies to the dollar right now because Greenard's pass rush win rate was about the same it was in 2024. Decent pressure numbers. Didn't have the sacks. Of course, the missed tackle rate. We've talked about that on this show before. That's a problem. Teams know he has trouble finishing plays, and he had a pretty bad shoulder injury that might limit him during camp. So, I mean, Matthew Coller, to mention our friend of the show again, he mentioned that he heard that most teams were offering day 3 picks. And if teams are lowballing you with that, I'd keep him, because if you get rid of him, okay, Dallas Turner takes over, totally fine. What happens if somebody gets hurt? Like what Andrew Van Ginkel gets hurt, Dallas Turner gets hurt. Yeah, it's going to happen. This is Vikings football. Somebody is going to get hurt.
Van Ginkel gets hurt all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it is, I think it would be, unless you're getting like a Godfather offer where it's like, holy shit, what are they hammered? What's going on? Say yes now. Like, I'm keeping him. And
it's starting to sound more like probably Greenard was like, hey, I want a pay increase, and if you don't give it to me, I'll look for a trade. And the Vikings were probably like, go ahead. You ain't gonna find nothing.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. See what you can find. And they're like, and now he's finding out he's probably not worth as much as he thought, which is humbling, I'm sure. Now I have a chip on his shoulder.
Which is great.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they worked out a thing where, you know, maybe he gets more guaranteed money this year, and then they like end his contract after next year, like they did with Hawkinson, where he becomes a free agent after next year.
The Neil Hunter Band-Aid.
Yeah, I could see that happening. But I could see also where they don't do a thing, and then, you know, trade deadline, somebody needs an edge rusher and he's playing well, ship him off for a 2nd-round pick. Trade deadline is when you can get the most, probably, for a guy who's probably not worth what he should be worth. So I think like that's an option too. But yeah, at this point, I feel like the Eagles were a big, probably like the most logical destination. I think the Patriots are there too. And he could still be. I've seen the Colts mentioned, which makes no sense. What are the Colts doing? Like, you don't. What?
They're
what's
going
their
YOLO.
plan? They have a plan.
Their plan is to save their job. That is what the plan is.
Like, they're not even the best team in their division anymore.
Right.
Like, so, yeah. They had to re-sign Alec Pierce because they wanted him to stay with Daniel Jones, who might not even be healthy. Yeah.
I was reading something about that today, and it was like this anonymous like general manager thing from the keep calling it winter meetings, but I don't know. It was supposed to be winter in Minnesota, but the 6 to 8 inches the weatherman forecasted never showed up. Like, the weatherman should be on the 9 meme, honestly. Like, you guys like 9 memes? Just Paul Douglas or something. Just
do it.
I don't even think he does the weather. I don't even know who does the weather in the Twin Cities now. I just look it up on my phone. Like,
yeah,
hey, it's gonna snow a lot. Oh, okay, whatever. No, I mean, I'm not as worried. It's weird because I'm just not worried about this situation as much as a lot of other people are. Like, if they trade him and they get a good return for him, great. If they keep him, great. Like,
yeah,
I'm indifferent about it.
How many times have we seen? This happened with Darius Smith. Like, he came in for a year, he was awesome, and then he left. Like, we've seen so many times where, and especially Brian Flores' defense. Like, is his defense going to be less aggressive if he doesn't have Jonathan Greenard out there? No. They're still going to be just as aggressive, get just as much pressure. Like, yes, I think we both agree Jonathan Greenard is a good player. But first off, did we even know about him before he signed with the Vikings? I don't know. I'll be honest, I had no idea who he was.
I was like, that's the Hunter replacement, but that's a lot of money. Who is that?
Yeah. And then he played really well in 2024. And then he got hurt, which is kind of like his thing in Houston, where he wouldn't be able to play as much because he would be riddled with injuries. And now we're learning why he was able to hit free agency and why the Texans got Daniel Hunter. But yeah, and then you can look at like this draft. I feel like it's, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a terrible draft, but apparently there's some pretty good edge rushers in this draft. So like, if the Vikings wanted to, they could draft someone. I would, even if they keep Greenard, I would have no problem with them drafting an edge rusher within the first 3 rounds. Like, because Van Ginkel's what? He's probably close to on his way out too. So I would have no problem with them using a draft pick. But again, there's guys still out there. Jadeveon Clowney, I think Dante Fowler Jr. maybe might be out there still. Like, there are guys who can give you reps if Jonathan Greenard is not out there because of the defense that Brian Flores plays, where he's just like, just go run out there like your head's on fire, pretty much to everybody. Like everyone loves, like, edge rushers love playing in Brian Flores' defense because they just get to just rush the quarterback every time. So like, this is Jonathan Greenard, like, has almost no leverage. Like, if he was coming off a 15 sack season, getting defensive player of the year votes, okay. But dude, you played 10 games, you had 3 sacks, and now you're asking for a pay raise of almost double? No, not gonna happen, man. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, conversations have been had, and those conversations will continue, and we'll be updated about those conversations in the future.
Got one more in you? 4 conversations?
No.
One of the greatest. So speaking of that, 2 things. One, I didn't finish my thought on Daniel Jones. They were saying in that little piece that why didn't they let him go to the market, because it was going to be he didn't want to leave and no team was going to pay him what the Colts did. So why not let him go find that out and then come back and be like, oh, okay, we'll give you this instead. But when your balls are in a vice, I guess, things happen.
How much do we believe into the rumors that the Vikings were going to give him an offer? Or was that just like them maybe doing him a favor? Like, we'll say we gave you an offer. So they'll be like, oh no, we got to sign him.
That would have been interesting if like Daniel Jones came in for a visit, right? Like, just
no, it would not.
It would have been interesting. Like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, no, when that stuff started popping up, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like, he just tore an
I don't
Achilles.
mean interesting in a good way, just like interesting in a what are we doing way.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I would not have been happy if they signed him to, like, I don't know, $20 million a year or whatever. That's fine. But that's not what he wanted. He wanted like $40 million, $50 million a year. No, he like, when Kirk Cousins retires, whenever that happens, Daniel Jones is next in line to get the most money for doing less as possible.
You're foreshadowing.
I am.
The main events of our show, the Roman Reigns of our show. But we will wait just a little bit longer there, because the Vikings, we talked about a big mistake. They may be doing it. Vikings, I put likely down here, but it sounds like they
hasn't been official yet. Right.
Yes. So,
which is hilarious, because I think the Vikings official website put down that they're likely to do. Wouldn't you guys know?
Yes.
Wouldn't you guys, of all people?
We may have inside source. What's your source? I don't know. Is this AI? I don't know.
I know some team sites have like separate reporters, but we know that the Vikings, like, media people are actually like in the building, like their offices in TZO. So it would just be weird for them to be like, maybe.
There's a good chance. I think so. Yeah. So the Vikings are planning on exercising Jordan Addison's 5th-year option. You know the deal with Jordan Addison by now. If you listen to the show, the stats are worth it. 175 catches, 2,396 yards, 22 touchdowns. That's not the problem. It's that he turns into Tiger Woods every time he goes behind the wheel. It's also rumored that the Vikings have earmarked money for a Jordan Addison extension. Okay. hear me out. I will go first. You can follow what I
Yeah.
have here because this keeping Jordan Addison is a win now move in an offseason where they have not had many win now moves. You could make a solid argument that you trade him, you get your second round pick, you're done with him, he's out of your hair, and you no longer have to worry about what he's doing at 2 a.m. because that seems to be a problem. But if you trade Jordan Addison, who is your wide receiver 2 right now? Are you bringing in a rookie? Are you signing somebody who is significantly less talented? And because of that, I feel like you let this year play out. You have the 5th year. And then if he goes and does something dumb, you just go get your guy in the 2027 draft. But also at the same time, too, I hear the argument because, like I said, he cannot make good decisions. And maybe he does make good decisions. Like there's more incidents where he's, done the right thing, but the bad ones are out there and we know about those more than the good ones. So I don't know. I don't like it. I understand it, but I wish they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think this is different than actually picking up the options, just exercising it so they have the option. So they're not giving him any money right now. They're not saying he's going to stick around. They could not pick it up. Like it's that simple. They wouldn't know anything, and he'd be a free agent next year. But yeah, it is a little concerning to think about that now there is that possibility. Because I feel like unless you are a Justin Jefferson, you are a Jamar Chase, you are I guess Jackson Smith and Jake, but now wide receivers are pretty replaceable in the NFL. Like every year there's another handful of guys who step up and emerge, or there's some rookies that emerge. Like Jordan Addison, great. I'm glad that he puts up those numbers. But we've seen plenty of guys in a Vikings uniform put up similar numbers. Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Percy Harvin. I'm just naming like all the best Vikings wide receivers now, so it's not really helping. But
But I agree with you in the sense that those guys are guys that
they're not all time like icons.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Like Justin Jefferson's a receiver you don't get rid of if you can help.
Correct.
It. But like those guys you mentioned.
But Stephon Diggs got traded for a reason. Adam Thielen was let go for a reason because they're not worth the hassle of either off the field or, crying about more opportunities after getting 120 targets in their final season. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But and you said like if he does something, he's gonna do something else. Like he's pretty consistent.
His off the field career is like GTA 6.
Yeah,
like
he didn't waste any time this year. That's for sure. He was just like, let's get this year over with right now. Let's do the one thing. I'm getting in trouble. Like, and I feel like Justin Jefferson. They probably asked Justin Jefferson to like try and keep an eye on him like a year or two ago, and I'm going to guess at this point he's probably just like, yeah, I can't control that guy. Like he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and you hope that he doesn't wreck his life or anyone else's life with a bad mistake, because he definitely could have when he was found in the middle of a off ramp on a highway asleep behind the wheel. Could have been a lot worse. But yeah, I'm not nervous yet about this. I understand why they do it because his numbers are awesome. 22 touchdowns is nothing to be quiet about, but he's got to be really good. Like, and whatever contract he gets from the Vikings, if that ever happens, like it's going to be packed with incentives, and like you cannot leave the state of Minnesota.
You cannot leave the team facility. That is like, yes.
But if Kyler comes in this year and he develops a good connection with Jordan Addison, because in camp last year Addison was like JJ's number one guy. And then Addison was suspended for the first 3 games, and then that kind of never was able to get back on track. So maybe, what if Addison emerges as a good connection for Kyler, and then you want to bring Kyler back next year, so you probably want to have Addison. But at the same time, you also have Justin Jefferson. And next year's draft is supposed to have a lot of good receivers. Supposed to. They say that. I feel like that's said every year, but yeah. So it just we'll keep an eye on it.
The best draft of all time is always the next draft.
Next year's draft.
Yes.
Yeah, just like the best quarterback is the backup quarterback.
It's so loaded at kicker. You got to watch this kicker draft. There are so many kickers out there. This guy's the next Will Reichard.
And at this point, like, I feel like we got to start waiting for college kids to actually be seniors, because every single one of them is trying to stay in school as long as possible now.
Get that money. Why not?
I don't blame them.
Yeah. No, I mean, that Texas booster oil money, man.
Yeah.
Just go get it. Speaking of Will Reichard, this popped into my head. So you're a Padres fan. Mason Miller's got Blind by Korn as his entrance, which is pretty cool. So I think it was Ian Hartitz, formerly of PFF. Is he Fantasy Life now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone's formerly of PFF now, too.
Yeah. There's nobody left. Not laughing. I hate when people get laid off, but I mean, there's nobody left.
All those people are going to get jobs. Like everyone that got let go. So I'm like, I don't feel bad joking about it, because I think like Trevor Sikkema, like, that dude's going to be on like ESPN probably in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be fine. Everybody there will be completely fine out of this. It's just a bump in the road. No, but Ian Hartitz recommended, he's like, how do we do this for football? Or maybe it wasn't him, it was somebody else. And I was just thinking, like, late in the game, the lights go out and all of a sudden you hear, will the thrill coming? Will the thrill come? Then like this big bright white light, or, he comes out like Obafemi, right? Like he's got the silhouette and he's just, whoo, and, just like walks on the field, and then he just shanks a kick right through the fucking windows at US State. Like, ooh, that did not go out well.
But then you'd have to do that for like every kicker. So like,
it would be amazing.
Greg Joseph would come out to like Rascal Flats or something and like just like shank it.
Like Will Reichard doing the Obafemi strut and like the fans doing it with him.
I wouldn't trust kickers to pick their own music, because it would just be weird, random, like top 40 country music, probably for the most part.
Yeah.
So I would leave it up to the locker room, probably do that, which is what the Padres did. I think Mason Miller said that the Padres locker room helped him pick that, which is awesome. But,
I mean, he's not old enough to know who Korn is. I mean, he might
you're
know,
not wrong.
But yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned he was like 6.
That song came out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just know it from the Woodstock video from that song, because everyone goes nuts when that kicks in.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go there. I'm going there in a couple weeks. On the 16th, I think.
Oh, I'm like, there's another Woodstock?
Yeah, absolutely. Out here in San Diego. No, to the Padres. So hopefully I'll get to see that in person.
I will be going to there's no place like here, Adam. And so we're told. Yes, hashtag. Hashtag no place like here. Going to Target Field to go see the Minnesota Twins.
There's no place that spends less money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best dollar for dollar you can get in MLB as far as payroll is concerned. They won today. So hey, whatever.
Who'd they play?
The Royals. They hit like 3 bombs in the 9th, which was kind of awesome. But it's like, oh, this is probably the high point of the season. This is fun.
Division win, though, right?
It is a division win.
There you go.
Speaking of entrances, I think what they should do is Kirk Cousins, Roman Reigns theme, head of the table, because Kirk Cousins is signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, which you're probably saying, yeah, that makes sense. Fernando Mendoza, number 1 pick. They're going to onboard him slowly. They're going to develop him. I like the signing for the Raiders. That's not what we're going to talk about right now, because Kirk Cousins is still the head of the negotiation table. Let me give you a tweet by Adam Schefter. And I am paraphrasing here, but this is insane. All of the details of this contract, because basically it's a 1 year, $20 million contract, which is insane enough considering this is Kirk Cousins and
38.
He's probably, he's 38, tore his Achilles 2 years ago. I know, pure progression and all of that stuff. Like,
him and Clint Kubiak were Golden Corral
drinking
buddies.
milks and whatever. So Cousins signed a 5-year, $172 million deal. And if you just saw that, your head would explode. But the Chiefs did this too with Travis Kelce's contract, where it's like 3 years and $85 million, but it has some like insane club option that unless they're like super hammered, they wouldn't pick up. This is what this has, because there is a 2-year club option worth $80 million, which the Raiders obviously are going to say, yeah, it's been great, Kirk, but we can just work out another deal if you want to come back or whatever. The Falcons, who used to pay Kirk Cousins, gave up the first Kirk Cousins contract. They will pay Kirk Cousins $8.7 million next year. The Raiders will pay another $1.3 million. The Raiders also give him a fully guaranteed $10 million roster bonus on the third day of the 2027 league year, because why not? And Schefter also brought in that this is the 11th straight season that Kirk Cousins' contract has been fully guaranteed. Is this man the greatest negotiator? Like, if I am in a hostage situation and they say you can have one negotiator negotiate, who is your guy? I am going to pick Mike McCartney and Kirk Cousins all the time. I know that's two guys. They're basically one, but like,
if I was the guy holding the hostages, I'd be like, oh, they can go. I'm not talking to them.
I'm not doing this. This is going to cost me so much money. You can live. Like, when will teams stop doing this? That's my question. Like,
never.
I understand the move. I like the move. You give Fernando Mendoza all the time he needs to be ready, and they can hang out, they can drink milk. I joked it's kind of like the episode of The Simpsons where they get the super squishy with like all syrup.
What are they gonna drink? What do they drink in quarterback, like that they just made so many times?
Oh God, what was it?
It was so annoying.
Oh, Roy Rogers. It was a Roy Rogers. Hey,
what Kirk's having tonight?
He gets to the facility. Fernando, like, how they have like the video and
oh yeah.
He's like walking through the facility, and then they get to the end. They get to the end, and Kirk's just sitting there like, hey, you want to get crazy in Vegas tonight? Try one of these. It's a Roy Rogers, man. Is it booze? No, there's no booze at all, but it's so good. You got to try Roy Rogers.
There's been some really good memes since Kirk got signed to the Raiders. A lot of him just decked out in tattoos, basically just copy and pasting Max Crosby's tattoos on his body. It's been pretty great. I
want to see the video of him meeting Max Crosby's probably like a decent human, but also like, hi, I'm Kirk.
How does he? Yeah, like I'm starting to wonder if he has like a private investigator that just goes around and follows whatever team is interested in him, and just like they're like, all right, Kirk, we're gonna offer you 1 year, $5 million. We know you're not the best right now in your career, and he's gonna be like, oh really? And slides over a manila envelope full of like pictures of these coaches or GMs just like doing weird stuff that might have been in the news about a politician recently. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Hamill's on the other
20 million, like, fully guaranteed. Yep. Well, right away, you got it. Because what other explanation is there for this? Like,
people are afraid. People are afraid. That's why.
I know the Raiders have money to spend, so this isn't going to hurt their cap situation or whatever. But still, 20 million? Like, he's getting paid like a top 20 quarterback. Is he a top 20 quarterback? Probably not anymore. But the thing that bothered me was this is a 5-year, $172 million. Why is that even in there? He's never going to see any of that money. What is the point of this? it's agent stuff. Like, I hate that. So I'm so glad that Schefter put all that other stuff in there too. Because if he just did like, oh yeah, Kirk Cousins just signed a 5-year, 100, like you said, everyone would have been like, what?
He should have started that. Like, send out that tweet
And then put in the
wait like
bottom
5
underneath.
minutes.
Yeah.
just for X to
We got more
crash or
details.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, forgot this detail.
Yeah. Because that tweet probably would have got like 5 million views and blown up.
Schefter tweets it, lights a cigarette, and just goes,
oh yeah, he's gonna be like, look at that engagement. I'm gonna get like
ESPN
$50 from Twitter this year.
ESPN bosses are just loving it. Like, holy shit, this is great.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it is a good fit, I think, for the Raiders. I think that's a place where a lot of people thought he was gonna go. I know me and you laughed about it earlier, like before the offseason even started, about Mendoza and Cousins being in the same locker room, of them just like, because he's like a mini version of Cousins in terms of personality and everything. So that'll be fun. They'll be able to bond in that way. Like, Kirk Cousins might actually be cooler than somebody in the locker room, because once Fernando Mendoza gets there, like, I don't know how many times Kirk Cousins could actually say that when he's been in a locker room, that he's like cooler than at least one person in the locker room.
I think too, like, there's some things like, so I remember quarterback too. I think it was like Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle were like talking on the sideline. They're like, yeah, I remember Kirk at Bruno Mars in Vegas. And there's just like most random Kirk Cousins things I could think of. But Kirko doesn't strike me as a lemon pepper steppers guy, but he does like Cookout. So
he likes his music. You know, he's a Blink-182 fan too. I think he likes Yellow Card too, which I like as well. But yeah, I was talking with somebody earlier today. I'm like, he should be in the he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but his pen should be. Like, just like a golden pen, just in a little glass box, just this is the pen that Kirk Cousins used to sign. Because now he has the second most career earnings of anyone in the entire NFL. He just passed Tom Brady. And Matthew Stafford is the only one who's had more career earnings than Kirk Cousins, and his one playoff win.
But Vikings fans hold on to that win so dearly.
In the season when he averaged the fewest pass attempts per game of his Vikings career. And that's when they won the playoff game.
Flags fly forever.
Actually, but Kubiak was on that staff. He was the quarterback's coach. So
yeah.
No, I think it'll be good. They're just going to hand the ball off to Ashton Genty anyway. So
this is true. And we're just sitting here. It's the contract that gets us. Like, it's not even like, it's a horrible signing or whatever. No, it's smart. It's, even if Kirk is done by week 6.
I just want to see all the endorsements that Kirk gets in Vegas. Like, is he going to be like doing like casino endorsements, like local, like for the MGM Grand or whatever? I don't even know if that exists anymore. What's the one with the Sphinx? Is that still around?
I don't know. I've never been. Have you been to Vegas?
Oh yeah.
I've never done it.
It's pretty overrated.
Yeah. Well, now everything's just expensive as hell to go there.
Yeah, it's like a hot Times Square, which it's not very fun. But I mean, if you want to, like, my wife and I went to Vegas, I think, for Thanksgiving or something, like a while ago before we had kids. And after we left, we're like, we should do way less walking less time, because we could have just like stayed in one hotel, because you walk through every hotel and they're like the same. There's a casino, there's stuff to do, there's a pool, there's a casino, there's stuff to do, there's like every casino. We walk through like all of them. And we're like, let's just, next time we come, we'll just stay in one casino. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do there. And Vegas is a place where you stay for like 2 or 3 days and you're probably good. It's not, don't stay there for a week. Your life would probably change. But Kirk Cousins is, if there was anyone to worry the least about in Vegas, he'd be near the top of that list for sure.
I want to see a quarterback with Kirk Cousins.
Jordan Addison would not be at the top of that list.
No, I guarantee you the Raiders have not called about Jordan Addison. They're like, What if we got no? I know he's a good receiver.
I wonder if that actually does factor into like some of their decisions roster wise of like, yes, he's a really good player, but we cannot afford to let him just have one night on the strip because that would just he would ruin his career probably. Like I'm sure the Raiders would love to trade for Puka Nacua. But that would be terrible for Puka and probably the Raiders. That would be an Antonio Brown situation like all over again.
Yeah, that thing is not trending in the right direction. Might as well wrap things up here on the Viking Age. What's going on at the VikingAge.com, Adam?
Well, it's April now. Already in April. So it's draft month officially. I think the draft is what end of the month, I believe. I don't know what even the date of tomorrow is. Yeah, so we'll be focusing more on the draft. We'll write about Dylan Thieneman about 50 more times just to match every time he gets mock draft to the Vikings. And maybe we'll write some about some other prospects. Maybe even a quarterback. Who knows? Maybe the Vikings will get crazy this year. Maybe Ty Simpson, because he's the best quarterback in there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So there's that, and then there's obviously still some lingering free agency stuff, but yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of free agency signings probably until after the draft when comp picks they don't affect comp picks, and then I think we might have like a mini second wave of people signing players that are still available, more active than like after June 1st in years past. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on, and then yeah, just whatever happens with the Vikings, we'll keep an eye on it and cover it. So check out thevikings.com.
There's a lot of bad contracts out there too, so I think a lot of people are waiting until they can save a little money before dumping those. So it's kind of.
I think AJ Brown, the rumors they're waiting until after June 1st to trade him, so that could happen too.
Yeah, there's
not for the Vikings, but Patriots. I think
there's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on in the NFL. There's a lot going on for me as well. I write over at zonecoverage.com. You can check out my Vikings work there. Twins, a little hard to come by good stuff to write, but I'm sure that'll pick up here soon. Of course, you got Wild coverage as well at Hockey Wilderness. Get that rolling again. And then the RBN network, we got Dairyland Express with Packers stuff, DeWindy City with Chicago Bears stuff, and Detroit Jock City with Lions stuff. If you want to keep up with what's going on in the NFC North, you can check out those sites there. But this is the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. Check out the VikingAge.com to keep up with all the craziness leading into the draft. But we do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. He is Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL. I am Chris Schad at The Real Chris Schad. 4 letters, 1 word, Skull.